Hey comic book fans, welcome back to the Comic Fix, your one-stop shop for every single thing DC Comics, to some creator-owned, to a little bit Marvel. My name's David, and welcome to the Comic Fix. Now, in today's episode, you're going to notice a shakeup in the comics I'm going to be reviewing. As you all should know, I am a big DC fanboy. And when I was just looking at my comics I've been reading, I'm just like, there's some of them that are not that great. I mean, they're not up to par of what I would like them to be. And so I looked at Comixology, and Comixology does this thing with DC Comics where once the book has been out for 2 months, they slash the price of that comic down to $1.99. And I was thinking to myself, why not I just take those lukewarm books that I'm not really passionate about, cut them from my pull list, and start just buying them at $1.99, and I'll be able to spend that $2.99 that I would usually spend on the DC books and kind of look at independent books. Because there's one thing I really wanted to do with the Comic Fix is to make you guys aware of some great comics out there. And I would just give you guys just the DC stuff, period. And so I thought to myself, let's change things up. Let's get a little bit more Marvel in there and a lot more independence. So, and this first book I'm going to be reviewing is definitely independent. Probably 99% of you have never even heard of. I didn't even hear of it until I looked at my comic book shop. And that is none other than Hero Bear and the Kid, The Inheritance. Now, this book is something, as I said, I never even heard of. But I went to my local comic book shop on Wednesday, and there was just one copy of this book. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow, this has some, just looks like from the cover, personality. And I was like, I'm looking for independence, and this is independent. It's written by Mike Conkeels and art by him also. So this is his baby. And what I absolutely love about this book is that the childhood nature of this book, that children and adults can read this book and just find something enjoyable about it. It almost feels like a Pixar type of comic book. Now, the storyline is that this kid, he just lost his grandfather, and his grandfather left him and his parents and his sister this mansion. And in that mansion, there was one thing that each of the two children inherited. And so they each go to their individual rooms, and they find a little thing that the grandfather left behind. Now, the daughter, she gets this really awesome technology type of toy that the boy just looks at and has been like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. He goes to look at what his grandfather left for him, and it's this teddy bear. And it's a teddy bear in a stopwatch, or in a little watch. And he just thinks to himself, why did my grandfather leave me this? I mean, I'm 10 years old, and if kids see me with this teddy bear, they'll probably beat me up because I'm going to be starting school the next couple of days. And you just get the sense that his life is not what he wants it to be right now. Now, this is all being narrated by his older self, and I love the way it starts out. It starts out talking about how everybody has childhood memories, even if, sometimes you'll just forget about it, but there would just be that time when you will remember. And it just has this passion behind it that you don't really see in comics, especially in the big two. This story that I was enjoying the whole way through. There was little dark parts, but it's not so dark that children won't have fun with it. I mean, it does have some elements to it where adults are just going to be very much, they're going to know what's going on, where kids kind of will not. But there's just something to this where each and every, from adult to children, can enjoy. I would recommend everybody just going out and try to find this comic. I know it'll be really freaking hard to do, because I was lucky enough to find just one copy, and that one copy just blew my mind. I mean, when I got home, I could not wait to just start to read this book. And that's what you really want as when you're reading comics. You want to be excited and in wonderment about what you're going to read. And I had no idea what I was in for. All I know was I saw the cover, and the cover just made me go, I need to read this. And it was a beautiful book from beginning to end. And I cannot wait to share this book with my nephew when he gets old enough. Because I think that there's going to be parts in this where he's just going to be able to look at it and be like, I can see myself in this character. And that's one of the great things about it. I cannot wait for issue number 2. I'm going to go tomorrow to my comic book shop and be like, hey, you need to put this on my pull list. Because it's done by Kaboom, which I never even heard of. I guess they do the Garfield comics and whatnot. But this comic right here, go and look out for it. Because this thing, I think, is going to be something special. And maybe, just maybe, a collector's item down the road. But for me, I love just reading comics just as not looking for the collectability. But I can just see this one being something special down the road. Maybe even Pixar will pick this book up and be like, let's make this into an animated series. So, in the end, Hero Bear and the Kid, The Inheritance, gets a 5 out of 5. Go pick this book up right now. The next book I'm going to be reviewing is none other than the most anticipated book this whole entire week, and that is none other than Saga Chapter 13. It's been so long since I've been able to get my hands on this book. I think it's been like 3 months. And in those 3 months, I've just been dying to find out what happens to Marco and Elena. But there's one thing I like about this issue, is that usually with the Saga, they usually take a time to tell one character story in each and every chapter. But in this one, knowing that it took that 3 months off, and it kind of gives you a little reminder of where these characters are at this point. Where we find out what the Will and the Lion Cat are doing. We find out what Prince Robot the Fourth is doing, and we also find out what Elena and Marco are up to at this point. And I love how how Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples kind of takes that kind of story element, because usually with any other writer's hands, this story can feel like kind of like a filler issue, but under these guys' hands, it all feels cohesive and just fun to read. I absolutely love these characters. These characters have so much personality in them that you just fall in love with each and every one of them. One of my favorite points in this whole entire issue was at the beginning, where you're at this hospital, and there's this one guy talking to these 2 reporters about Elena and Marco, and about how Elena cut off his arm, and he wants to get his story out. And you're at this hospital, and he's telling the story, and then in the background, you see this flying rodent passing by, and you just see it like doing like droppings. And under Fiona Staples' artwork, I just started busting up laughing. I was like, this is such a perfect comedy. Because in comics, I believe it's so hard to have comedy. I mean, because with the comics, you're kind of doing it at your own pace, and if you don't have a person who knows how to do paneling well, it just, like, the whole entire joke can fall apart really easily. But Fiona Staples just has this perfect way of her artwork that she knows what she wants and she knows how to do it. And it's just so interesting seeing Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, how they work together. That this issue right here, if you're just new to the comic book series and you're wanting to jump on in, this is the perfect point to jump on in, because it gives you who all the characters are and where they stand at this point. But there's one thing I know as comic book fans, and as anybody who reads comics, they're reading Saga. Saga is that good that everybody's reading it. And if you're not one of those people that are reading it, I would love for you to write down in the comments below about why you don't read it, because this book is freaking awesome. This is the one series which each and every issue, I keep on giving it a 5 out of 5 because it is that good. I don't want to ruin what happens in the whole entire book. This book series is just something you have to read and enjoy and experience for yourself. So everyone go out and buy Saga Chapter 5. And Saga Volume 1, which is only $10, is on sale. And Saga Volume 2 came out today. And you can buy it and then buy issue number 13. And you're all caught up, folks. So go out and support this book. So in the end, Saga Chapter 13 gets a 5 out of 5. The last book that we're going to be taking a look at for this video is a book that has a lot to live up to, especially after the last two books I reviewed. And that book is none other than Justice League of America, issue number 7. This is Trinity War, part 4. Now, with this whole entire Trinity War, it has been living up to the hype. I mean, we had this mystery of what is in Pandora's box. And Pandora, she's been going around trying to find the purest of heart to the most evilest of evil. Trying to get them to open this box and seeing what's inside. Now, she went and she gave it to Superman. Superman tried to open it, and what happened was he killed somebody. And then she tried to give it to the evilest of evil. And he had good in him. So there's nobody worthy to open up this box. And so with this issue, we have some Justice League characters trying to help Superman and figure out why did he kill somebody. Was he under psychic abilities or was it magic involved? We don't know. So that's what the Justice League are trying to figure out. And so the storyline element in here is just very interesting. The part that failed in this book was not Doug Manicky's art. His art is fantastic. But what did kill it for me was the inkers. If memory serves me right, I think there's like 5 different inkers on this book, and it just felt like a jumbled mess from that perspective. Is that Doug Manicky's art is so beautiful, but under the wrong inker's hands, any penciler can just have his art destroyed by a terrible inker. I've seen it from the best of the best to the worst of the worst, but this issue just felt like a jumbled mess from the perspective of the inkers. Is that when I was just looking at the panels, I was just like, something does not feel right. And so if something's not feeling right, I mean, the whole story can just unravel upon itself, the whole issue. That's one of the things I like about comics, because comics is not just an individual effort, it's a team effort. And if one part fails, and it fails miserably, the whole book as a whole just isn't as good as what it could be. And I do recommend people going and reading Trinity War. But just know in this issue, there were just too many cooks. And just what came out was something that should be better than what it is. So in the end, Justice League of America, sad to say, but it gets a 2 out of 5. And I'm hoping for better from this team. I don't know why they had so many inkers on this book, but you just definitely tell there was too many cooks in the kitchen. And so that ends for this video. Now, in my next video that I'm going to be coming out with, there's some more independent comics, and I'm going to be talking about East of West to what is this book? To Great Pacific, to all these fun books. So if you like what you've seen, please subscribe. And I just enjoy comics, and I hope you guys enjoy it with me. And there's also this awesome YouTube community on Facebook. I'll put a link down below. Hopefully you guys will like it. And maybe we can all just start talking to each other. I actually love the community that we have created on YouTube for our comics that we all know and love. So in the end, that's my reviews for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.